What's up, people? One Up Punch here. So I picked up Rungore. It came out today, September 12th, 2023, and I'm going to explain to you what this game is, what the demo was, and what the main game is now that it's out in early access. It's not a full release copy. It is early access, but I will say it's under $14 on Steam. So if you want to get Rungore, I highly recommend it. Let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit. So what is Rungore? Rungore is essentially an auto-running card game to where you go one direction, you're not going anywhere else. You have a little guy that could be a specific type of class with the name guy next to him, like Knight Guy, Hungry Guy, Christ Guy, Gun Guy, Bow Guy. I played the demo a little bit, but it's mainly you playing the Knight Guy. And the Knight Guy will have cards that you could throw up on the screen in the center when doing an attack, having armor, doubling your armor, having increased attack speed, increased attack strength, being able to do crit damage, and so on and so forth. And there's different ones for different classes. Like, I remember the gun guy when he had double-barreled shotguns. He would have, like, a weird mechanic with crappy bullets and good bullets. Good bullets, he would fire faster and do more damage. Crappy bullets were just something he could shoot twice or do a little bit more damage. And, of course, Knight Guy has his sword-swinging abilities and armor, that he can get double armor or higher attack rate for smacking the living shit out of anything in front of him. You have different enemies too. You have a teddy bear. You'll have a box of cardboard. A wooden box with human abs and a face also flexing at you with its arms. They also have different bosses in the game, like a gargoyle, a bomb, a super bomb, a corpse that will karate kick you, machine gun kick you until you die doing 1 damage at a time. They also have elite units or like harder enemies besides the bosses that will just beat the ever-living hell out of you to where you have to use a couple more cards than usual. There'll be times that you want to keep as many cards as possible before fighting a boss because they do become more difficult as turns progress because they will gain more attack. They'll even double their attack and do like 120 damage in a single shot. Again, the corpse that does like a machine gun karate kick will just kill you in a bunch of hits. And that's just doing 1 damage at a time, but it's like per second. And then you'll have the different items that if you do defeat the bosses, you'll get to be able to choose 3 different types of items that might help you on, whether it be like a paper firework or something that does mark damage. You know, it really depends upon the actual item and boss that you fight. It's always random every time, but the game is early access as well. There's a bunch of different other things, like you can unlock equipment. You could also unlock new guys, like I got Hungry Guy, which is some kind of big obese dude that he will eat small sandwiches to gain 6 health, and he'll do like maim damage, as well as like bleeding and punching the hell out of crap with like also doing damage to himself. It's very fun and very awesome to see a game like this because of some of the like funny things they say. For example, there's different events in it that while you're running will pop up. You'll get a loot box and get some cards in it. They'll have the cool styles of the different cards themselves, like a fist that's doing strength training, 2 people looking at you with like a crosshair on a wall. And then the events I was talking about earlier, they'll have like different ones to where you meet a slime, you say you want to kick its ass or tell it it's pretty, and then it says something kind of funny. Or they have another one to where you meet a lich, and you could be a door-to-door salesman to where you get gold, or you have a tea party and the lich gives you his powers. So, I mean, there's different things that are kind of funny there. Mostly a little bit of humor, or they did state that there was a lot of memes that they took that became, like, a part of this game. But like I said earlier, I do like the graphic settings. I do like how the game goes to where it's auto-running in one direction, a whole different mechanic, and then having cards just throw up really fast that do different things, from adding more ammunition to higher attack and more attack speed, being able to strengthen more damage per turn, and then going through these events to get more stuff. And you can do like random events that will pop up with, you'll get more radiation, for example, in the sewers, which what it does is that if it gets to the higher portions of radiation, you'll take more damage per turn. The other thing I wanted to show off was the Hungry Guy himself. When you look at him, again, he's kind of a big, like, fat dude with bald head, and he's got, like, burgers in his mouth. And this is how he runs. But I wouldn't mess with him too much, dude, because like I said, some of those cards that you see, it shows him with like a fist and then knuckles that he's wearing with spikes, and he just punches the hell out of something. They also have different enemies in the game, like a treasure chest and key, a rat that'll poison you, and then one of the bosses or mini bosses, which is Minigun Gabo. Essentially, it's a machine gun with like an ammo box behind it, and when you take out the ammo box, it'll do 50 damage to the machine gun and make it go like 50% slower in terms of attack. So, I mean, there's different things for choosing other enemies when you play later on, because that's not always an unlock that you could have. The picking of enemies will happen in later levels like sewers, town, or dungeon. The farthest I'm in right now is like a pet nursery, and I got a bunch of weird animals. Like my pets I could choose are like a wooden box with really incredibly strong arms, or a sword that's flexing all the time that does an attack and gives me attack damage. Then they also have a cloud that will do like armor for me the higher the level it is, and enemies can't attack me as much either. So just like the trinkets you get after every boss, they'll have 3 or 4 card selections that you can get after every combat, and they'll be different things from healing or whatever your signature skills are with the character. I know there are other guys you could play as, but I don't know exactly how to unlock them. There might be challenges you have to do that might unlock other things other than just characters. Like I know I got gold, I got some potions I could use per floor, some new cards I could also add later. And then with the new guy, Hungry guy, that I currently unlocked, he's the only one I've gotten to so far. I do know there are other guys, but I just don't know if they're all in this version of the game, since it is early access, or they might have kept some of the other characters before adding them later on. Again, the game is early access, so there's going to be some things that's going to change, or they're not going to add anything till later on. But with the new guy that I've tried, which is Hungry Guy, he's the only character I've unlocked so far. I do know that there are other ones like Gun Guy, Bow Guy, and then I think the other one was like a Christ Guy, and I've seen him in the trailer. There are other people to unlock, and there's more stuff to kind of do. But for right now, it's just we got some equipment we can unlock. We got a couple of guys you could fight. There's decent amount of levels, and the other thing I like about the game, which I might do an OST for, which is the soundtrack. It's got pretty bopping music, and I like to have something like a playlist to listen to that constantly. Kind of like the Fights in Tight Spaces Weapon of Choice DLC stuff, and then Heretic's Fork. But that being said, I've been One Nut Punch, and this has been another video. In closing, before I turn this video off and go and do some other stuff, I made a video for a game called The Front, and it's an MMO that has dedicated servers of solo and some other shit. But essentially what it is that I said that the game was crap and that it wasn't worth the money. I didn't state that it was a game that you should stay away from, but rather I didn't recommend it, especially for the price that they were asking, which was $16 to $20. And I got flack for it, got some hate, got some threat or two, which that's not really anything new for me because I've had people do that in Hunt Showdown, Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, especially with the PvP crowd when it was pretty big back then, having a lot of the PvP and player groups. But people should note that if you're going to send me dumbass comments, especially when the first thing you say is, I don't mean to be this, I'm going to immediately get rid of it. Just letting you all know that the comment section will stay clean, and that, again, I don't mind answering questions and talking with people that are cool. But if you're a jackass and you're actually being a blatant piece of shit, you're just going to get gone, because that's what I want to do, and I don't want to deal with your shit. I don't get paid to be on YouTube and Twitch and all this stuff. I do it because I want to, that I desire to, and that I feel like actually having fun with it. So all I'm saying is don't be a dickhead, and if you're going to say stupid shit in the comment section, just be warned that I will get rid of it and not have to listen to it. I can respond to people that are being decent, but I could also tell the difference between an asshole and somebody who's genuinely asking a question. So that being said, I've been One Nut Punch. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later in the next one.